Hello, fellow Scratchers! Ever wanted to add your own items and blocks to Paper Minecraft? Well, today I'll show you how, demonstrating by adding the hugely significant cheese block. Perfect, because it will allow me to show you how to set up smelting, crafting, and eating. Not to mention, you'll get to see me build my dream house. Excellent. Now, I've no doubt that soon you'll be creating the most awesome mods of your very own. The most creative mods will be featured in my very next modding video, so go to town and have a lot of fun, and post your mods in the studio linked in the description under this video. Okay, shall we begin? Load up the latest version of Paper Minecraft. If you need it, there's a link to that too in the description. Now remix, and the fun really begins. Just a word of advice, this is a large project, and if you find Scratch tells you it just can't save, try clicking the green flag to reset the project, and that should solve the problem and it will save once more. Great! I am going to add a cheese block, so I need some cheese costumes. Now, you won't be surprised that the Minecraft community already has some suitable content that I could borrow. I could have grabbed the assets from the Rat mod webpage, but for the best quality, I went ahead and extracted the original images from the Rat mod source files. If you need them too, then those will be linked in the description also. Back in Scratch then, we need to add the costumes to the tile sprite. This is just full of Minecraft blocks and item costumes. Just make sure you always add the new costumes to the bottom of the list. Changing the costume numbers of existing items will really mess up the game. So here's my new cheese block. We just need to ensure it's correctly sized. Select all with Ctrl-A and drag while holding Alt to keep it centered. The final size wants to be exactly 10 of these grid squares tall, or a 40x40 pixel costume if you want to go by the costume size. Now repeat this for as many costumes as you need. It's a little trickier though for non-block items, as this sizing is a little harder to gauge. It's actually 2.5 times larger than the imported costume, if you want to know. Okay, I want these cheese items first. So, Paper Minecraft is super meta. We have many lists of data that drive the game engine. The block data list, make it visible, contains information on each and every tile and item in the game. Now, we could edit this list directly in Scratch, but to be honest, it's much easier to handle if we right-click the list and choose to export it to our computer. Then we can load up the list in Notepad or Notepad++ if you have that, because I love being able to clone the view. This opens the same file twice side by side, and you'll see why this is cool in a moment. This text file follows a record structure. Each record is 20 lines long and separated from the next record by a single blank line. A record exists for every tile or item in Paper Minecraft. This top record, though, is a special header record, as it just tells us what each line of a record is used for. The best way to add a new block is by copying a record that's already there. Our cheese item is similar to any small item, so how about we copy a gold ingot? It's costume number 42. Now in the text file, we search up the number 42, and here we go. You can see the title, gold ingot, and the item number just above it, and above that a single space that separates the records. So this gold ingot is item number 84. Item numbers are not linked to costumes at all, it's worth remembering that. So select the entire record, all 20 lines, and copy them to your clipboard. We'll drop down to the end of the text document and paste these at the end, making sure to leave only a single blank line between this new record and our previous one. Don't leave any more or less, otherwise this will not work. So this is where having the second view of this file comes in useful. I can match up the lines of our record with the header lines from the top of this document. See the description matching up with the description line here? Now we edit. The item number first. This must always follow on from the previous record. That was 287, so the next number is 288. Next, we give it a name. Piece of cheese. None of the other settings are important right now except row 15 here tells us which category under the creative menu the block should be filed under. Perhaps materials, that's an 8. Tile sprite ID. Now this is the costume number of this tile. Cheese is 308. Pop that in. 308. We get to specify the costume again, just in case we want a different costume when it's displayed in the inventory. 308 again though. And then here's the last change. Row 19 says root item ID. Oh, what does that mean? Items with the same root ID can be used interchangeably for crafting, so you might have all the woods with the same number. If not, just enter its own block ID to keep it unique. 288. Cool! Now, before we move back into Scratch, make sure to save this text file to your computer. Then, we right-click the list in Scratch and this time, import, selecting our updated block data text file. Okay, might be worth scooting down and confirming the new block is there in the bottom. Yep, piece of cake. I mean cheese. Excellent, we are ready for a quick test. Hide the block data list before smashing the green flag, and jump right into creative mode. Under the materials, right? Yes, there it is, a piece of cheese! And the tooltip works too, I love that. Hey, is cheese throwing a thing? I think I might have invented a new game. Now, I really wish we had cauldrons in Paper Minecraft for curdling our milk into cheese, but the next best thing would be a furnace. Smelting milk into cheese will have to do, and it's dead easy to configure. It's there in the block data header, smelt into block ID. So just remember that our cheese is item number 288, and then find the word milk in our block list. Here we go, this must be the bucket of milk record. I'll just line it up with the headers, and then line 12 is for smelting, so just replace that 0 there with 288, a piece of cheese. The next line is important too. Burn in furnace, duration in seconds. Set that to 10 seconds. I'll keep it short so that I can show you it working. Right, make sure to save this file again, and then in Scratch re-import it into the block data list. Go, go, go! A furnace, a bucket of milk, and some coal. There's nothing like warm milk on a cold day. Or cheese! What a happy surprise! Hey, where'd my bucket go? Well, back to my favourite pastime, cheese throwing! Now let's add that block of cheese, costume 309. This one is a placeable block too, so this will be fun. We can begin by finding and copying the dirt block, as that is the most simple solid block. Paste it down at the bottom with that obligatory single blank line to separate it from the previous record. We need to increase the block ID from 288, so this will now be block ID 289. Great! Line up the headings. Name. Block of cheese. Yes, it's a solid block this time, and the hardness can be soft like dirt, 0.5. You can look these numbers up on the Minecraft wiki. Digging tool. We don't even need a spade, S for this, so set this to N for no tool required. This isn't a liquid, it doesn't fall like sand or gravel. Tile group. We can use this to give the tile sound when we walk on it or apply other game properties, but no, we don't need that for this block. Now when the block is harvested, we don't want to switch it for another block, no, so leave that as 0. We're not smelting or getting hurt by the block. Now then, the creative mode category. I've decided we should probably recategorize the cheeses under the foodstuffs, that's number 5. Tile sprite ID for cheese block was costume number 309. Enter that in, and repeat that again for the inventory costume 309. Lastly, the root ID needs to be the same as the number of the block ID, 289. And that's all of it, except to go back and make the piece of cheese appear under the foodstuffs category as well, a change from 8 to 5 foodstuffs. Yay! Save the file, and back into Scratch, import the updated block list. Feeling good about this? We can see the cheese item and block are both in the foodstuffs category. Yay! So cool! Because now I can finally build my dream house. Man, what's not to love? That is so cool. And now, what would Minecraft be without crafting? How about we add a crafting recipe to craft a cheese block from 4 pieces of cheese? And for this we need to locate another scratch list, the recipes list. It's not as complex as the block data list, but still worth exporting to your PC for easier editing if you can. You'll see there are only 4 lines to each record in the list. Recipe description, product, that's the item number, quantity, that's how many items you craft in one go, and the recipe itself. More on that in a moment. Just select the top record, the 4 lines starting with the words wooden plank, and copy that to the clipboard. We'll paste this at the bottom of the file, as before leaving a gap of 1 line between records, and now we modify this new record. My block data list is still open here on the right, so I can find the details for the block of cheese in there. Copy the name and paste it into our recipe. Also, the block number is 289. This is for the block being crafted. The quantity is the count of items crafted, just 1 for the block of cheese. 1 block of cheese from 4 pieces. And lastly, we have the encoded recipe. Let's go over how this is formatted. Here is the crafting table for our cheese block. Always ensure the recipe is pushed to the bottom left of the table. We enter the item number for the piece of cheese, 288, and any empty tiles we write in as a hash symbol. And now what we do is begin at the bottom left and we write out the 3-digit number, 288. If the number was shorter than 3 digits, like say the number 7, then we'd pad it out with leading spaces, space, space 7. So it's always 3 characters long. The next number is 288 again, so we enter that right after the last, without leaving a gap, 288. And again, we would pad that out with spaces to the left if needed. Then the hash, and this too is padded out to the left with spaces, so this is space, space, hash. We repeat this onto the next line, 288, 288, space, space, hash. And the final row, space, space, hash, space, space, hash, space, space, hash. And that's it. I'll enter the completed recipe under the last just so that we can compare. And notice how the columns line up and the 3-digit numbers are all right aligned, padded out with spaces to their left. Good. Let's delete that old row above, that's important. So save the file, and then come back into Scratch and import the new recipes file. And we are good to smash that green flag. Now stock up with pieces of cheese. Then press T to talk and enter /GM for game mode, space S for survival. That switches us to survival mode and we can test out a bit of crafting. Use the space key to separate out those cheeses. Wow, nice, the recipe worked. That's so cool and so fun. Let's do it again. Haha, there's no stopping us now. How about we add the reverse recipe to split the blocks back into 4 cheeses. We duplicate the previous recipe, leaving a single line gap. We are crafting a piece of cheese. That's item number 288. And we want to craft 4 pieces from 1 block, and the recipe code is a single tile of 289, the block of cheese. Pad the rest out with space space hashes, and save. And import the text file back into Scratch. And test! Grab a block of cheese, jump into survival, and craft. 3 blocks of cheese make 12 pieces of cheese. Splendid! And we can craft them back into blocks at whim. So apart from building houses, what can we do with these cheeses? Hey villager, want some cheese? No? Well wait, I can't eat the cheese? Yeah, there's yet another list to be looked at. The food data list. Shall we export it and take a look? It's the normal format. I'll clone it to the other view and we can check out how it works. Here's a cake, which is block ID of 111 in our game. We just copy all 6 lines, and then moving down to the bottom of the file, paste it in with a single line gap as normal. So we want to eat a piece of cheese. That's 288 a piece of cheese. I can paste those two lines right in. Hunger points is next. Now, luckily, I can look these values up in the Rats mod wiki. Hunger points is 3. See? Stuff that value in, and the saturation, that affects how long it is before you need to eat again. And this value is 0.5. Cool. Chance of food poisoning? Nah, we don't need that. And after eating, nothing remains. So leave that too. We are done. Save the file and go back into Scratch. And you know what to do. Import the list. And run the project. Filling up with the cheese now. And eat. Okay, of course I'm not hungry yet. Well, I guess I'd better do some exercise. Hold on. And it's dinner time. Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed this quick tutorial on modding Paper Minecraft. If you did, then smash that like button and make sure to subscribe to my channel not to miss the next exciting video. Drop me a comment if you want to see further modding videos like the one here, and I'll do my best to oblige. That's it from me though. Until next time, have a great week ahead and scratch on, guys.